The media. Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Safety Systems. If you are in the market for a home security system, go local. Local people to install the equipment, local people to monitor that equipment, to monitor your home, local people to call if something needs fixing. Local. That's what you get with Safety Systems. JJ Surlis, VFL, like Will Overstreet here. You can get in touch with JJ, give them a call. They've been around for 20 years now. They do tremendous work. You'll see the Safety Systems sign in front of my yard. I trust them. Safety Systems. All right. I want to welcome back the whole panel now. We got Chuck over at the YP board. What I want to do is there's nothing like a segment where you can look back and make fun of yourself later. That's what this is. I want to look at the 5 new head coaches in the SEC. I'm not counting Matt Luke because he got his first year last year and they just took the interim off. So 5 first-year head coaches in the SEC. And I want to rank these guys right now. Who would you put 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? And let's go to the YP board where Mr. Cavaleris is. And the names of those coaches are, of course, Jimbo Fisher, Texas A&M, Joe Moorhead at Mississippi State. You've got Chad Morris from Arkansas. You got Dan Mullen, Florida, Jeremy Pruitt, Tennessee. Those are in alphabetical order. All right. Who's number 5 on that list? Who's the 5th person?
We're going by most likely to succeed or just who we think is the better coach?
What's the best hire? So I guess that would be you're looking for success if you're hiring a guy.
Yeah. At 5, I would probably go with Chad Morris just because I'm not quite sold on him. I think it's a tough job, first of all, at Arkansas. And his head coach record up to this point has not been overwhelmingly good. It's been okay, but not enough there for me to say that I think he's definitely going to do a great job.
I know some folks who played under him at Clemson who worship the guy. They think he's really good.
Yep.
But
he's at Arkansas, and it's still a tough spot to be at.
John Chavis is defensive coordinator.
Yeah, but it's still, I mean, it is a very tough spot to be at, and we've seen a lot of good coaches go there and not ever be able to really realize a lot of success because of where they're at and in the conference, the part of the conference they're in.
So you guys would go Chad Morris. I would go Mike.
Well, I was just going to say this, that Jeremy Pruitt is the only guy who has not been a head coach at any level. So you think about that. But I'm going to give him a pass for a reason I'll reveal in a minute, I guess, and go with Chad Morris.
I would go Joe Moorhead.
Yes.
Personally. Offense coordinator from Penn State. There's been one coach who's won at Starkville, and that was Dan Mullen. So, I mean, you're in it's still the toughest division in the conference. To me, Pruitt and Moorhead would be 4 and 5 in my view. But I'll let you guys decide it. What do you say, Moorhead or Morris?
I could go with either one because I'd put them either 4 or 5. So put Morris at 5 for me, and then Moorhead for
Morris at 5, Chuck, or you like me, or what?
No, I think it should be Joe Moorhead because it's Mississippi State and that division. I mean, I think it's.
Josh, I'll let you settle it.
Well, I was thinking between Chad Morris and Jeremy Pruitt. So
okay.
Same
so
here.
Morris.
I would say Morris.
Okay. Chad Morris goes to number 5 in terms of hires. All right. Number 4.
I think I have Moorhead higher than most people because he actually has a record as a head coach, and it's actually very good, even though at a smaller school level. So I think he's got a chance to do pretty well at Mississippi State. He's not as proven as some of these guys on the list, obviously.
Behind you, Chuck just under his breath muttered, Butch Jones, in terms of winning at another level.
But it was a fast turnaround from a really bad team. Butch Jones didn't have to turn around a bad team. So at least Moorhead has done something at a program that was struggling before.
And he's viewed as an innovative offensive mind from what he did at Penn State and before.
This is where I would have Jeremy Pruitt, personally. Just because he's not as proven, hasn't been a head coach before. Until we see more, I think this is about a fair spot for him, personally.
Okay, I would go 4 for Pruitt. I would have had Moorhead 5th, but Pruitt 4 for me.
Yeah, and it also depends on how you look at it because Arkansas, Mississippi State, you could say lower expectations, although replacing Mullen's tough. I would say Jeremy Pruitt here.
Pruitt 4? All right.
I'll go Pruitt 4, and the reason I didn't go Pruitt 5 with no head coaching experience, I think that Nick Saban, the years he spent with Nick Saban, trumps being with, say, James Franklin at Penn State or being even with Dabo Swinney at Clemson like Chad Morris was. So,
okay, so we got Joe Moorhead. Is that number 3 on the list? Because here's let me remind something. I got 2 words for you. Magic show. His defensive coordinator, Bob
That's
Shue.
what I was going to put before. Because here's honestly what I think. I think you can make a case to put Pruitt at 3 just because of the side of the conference that Chad Morris and Joe Moorhead are going to be in on the west side of the conference. It's a lot tougher. And so in those 2 schools on that side of the conference, you know, 3 years from now, you said who had the better chance to succeed and not. I think even if you said they were different coaches, I think you can make an argument that Pruitt's higher than those 2 guys.
You know, also if Moorhead didn't have Nick Fitzgerald at quarterback, I might have him lower. He gets to take on the better quarterback.
He gets to take over what Dan Mullen built and try to sustain it, which is a lot easier to do than build it back from what Mississippi State's been in the past.
Here's and he's off to a good recruiting start so far. It comes down to this then. Jimbo Fisher, national championship title winner at Florida State, moves to Texas A&M. Dan Mullen won in the toughest division in college football at historically the worst program in the league. And now he moves to Florida, which is a great recruiting base, even though he's not had a great start recruiting. Who do you go with? Fisher in the West, Mullen in the East? Personally, I'd go Mullen 1, Fisher 2.
That's how I go. An easy breakdown for me in that what he was able to do at Mississippi State in the West, with where he's at now in Florida, you would think over the long term, if I'm projecting out, I put him there, number 1.
If you had asked me when these hires were made, I would have had Mullen number 1. Now, because of the start that we've seen from Dan Mullen in recruiting, I would flip them. I actually think Mullen 2, and I think there's a chance maybe long term it might not work out as well as I thought, because I'm not sure he ever becomes the big-time recruiter that he should be at Florida.
But the trick is he wasn't a big-time recruiter at Mississippi State.
That's true.
He's a guy, he's one of those cats that seems to be able to win with anybody you give him. So
that's fair.
He finds quarterbacks, and that's an equalizer.
Yes, I agree.
All right, so who here says, look, we got to move quick.
Yeah.
Who here says Mullen over Fisher? 3? Okay, and so 3 and 3?
Yeah, I'm putting Fisher 1 because he has a national title, but it feels like he has a lot to prove considering he has a national title.
Tough fan base, too.
I'm going.
Florida is, too.
I go
Huge
with
contract.
Mullen number 1 because I just don't like some of the Jimbo Fisher off the field stuff.
All right, Chuck, you make your decision.
I can agree with all this. Let's go with Mullen number 1 now and John James Fisher number 2.
All right, very good. Very good. We are way behind. When we come back, where will Tennessee be picked? Where will they be picked? Where will they be picked to finish in the SEC East? And which coaches will be making their last visit to SEC Media Days, if any? Come on back on the Sports Source.